to some extent, we all want to be popular, but the question is, what are we willing to pay for that?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are not all that eager to be popular if we have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and usually that personality has a little bit more of a trouble becoming popular, because to some extent you have to be willing to follow the mold.
Right.
Film's a very good example of that. And that's our books or novels. You have to have a happy ending. You have to, in the end, solve the riddle, and rather than leaving it open and you decide, which is the most likely thing that will work. And I think the composer, but I think also artists generally, have to take the audience into consideration. I don't care who you are. Certainly Wagner did, certainly Beethoven did, but they only went so far. But they recognized that they would try to make things easier for the listener.
Right.
Give them hints how to do that and all that. And then attractive ideas, attractive beginnings.
A little bit of repetition every now and then.
Well, yeah. Well, repetition was very common.
To.
But I mean, it's even common these days. It's not that uncommon. But the problem is that too many composers don't go for that idea of having like a hook, something that, what they call earworm.
Yeah.
Which I think is something I don't shy at all to. I like earworms. And if I find ones I like, I'm very happy about it. But you need to sort of let that happen first. Find that earworm that will either certain kind of a mood or certain kind of a melody or a certain kind of a harmonic progression. All of these things that, and then of course you have to let the audience get to know it.
Right.
So repetition comes in. The sonata form, because it was a trial for people, the exposition was always repeated.
Mm.
So then the development, which was based on that, would become more understandable, and then recapitulation would have a different key relationships and all that, would be like remember, this is where we came from.
Right. It's return home.
Yeah, I mean, all art does that. To some extent, there's always that aspect to it. And if you try to read something like Finnegan's Wake, let's say, then it's a trial.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need a whole bunch of dictionaries around with you, because he will take an Indian word and change it to make it sound not Indian or something like that, and put two words together, and it takes a while.
Right.
But he does it with a lot of gift, so there are parts of it which are wonderful to listen to, and you can read it, and it's a delight. But on the other hand, it takes a commitment on the part of the reader. It's a thick book, a lot of words. There are now books about it that help you break it down so that you can learn something from that. And that's good. I don't see no problem with that. But on the other hand, there is something about it that is, to some extent, pretentious. When you get so solipsistic that you really need a dictionary by you.
Right.
Or, particularly as in a pound, like a lot. But still, he's got poems which he has quotations in all kinds of languages and doesn't bother to translate them. So you have to do the work of that. And a lot of people will say, screw it, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And that's okay. I mean, a writer that does that doesn't understand that he's writing for a certain kind of a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
And in Europe, particularly in the beginning of the 20th century, most Europeans knew at least 2 or 3 languages. Those who were educated well and all that. So you could depend English, German, French, and Italian, a lot would have. And the Scandinavians were busy learning all of them. And of course, they all knew Latin still.
Mm-hmm.
They were taught, I mean, Latin was still used even in the early part of the 19th century for people to talk to. It was a living language still.
Right.
But then, other languages took over. Probably the first one was French, in terms of learning, because one simple reason, they were the first to write an encyclopedia.
Well, there you go. Yeah.